Hey guys, it's Mrs. Sisson. I know you already have your journal out and you're ready to learn today because you're a rock star. If you need to grab your journal, grab it, but we're going to go ahead and get started. We are talking about context clues. This is another topic I'm sure you've heard before, and now in 5th grade, we're just going to dig in a little deeper and keep practicing using context clues to determine the meaning of an unknown word. So I want you to repeat after me. Say, today I will use context to determine meaning of unknown words. That's what we're going to do. We're going to use all of the words around that unknown word, the sentence before, the sentence after, any context we have to determine the meaning of a word that we don't know. Whenever we are using our context clues, there are actually several different types of context clues that an author might give you to help you understand the meaning of an unknown word. So I want you to take notes in your journal over the different types of context clues with me today. So when you come to an unfamiliar word, we're going to use the text clues and we're going to use visual clues to determine the meaning of that unknown word. So let's go ahead and look at the first type of context clue, and that is word parts. So I have it written right here. Word parts. So that means part of the word has a meaning that you already know, and then you use that word part to help you determine the meaning of the whole word. For example, the word lumen means light. So in the sentence, we stared at the luminous stars in the sky, I can use the word part lumen to help me know that luminous must mean like bright or light lit stars in the sky. So go ahead and write down word parts and our example sentence. Luminous is our unknown word. We stare at the luminous stars in the sky. It doesn't have to be perfect. My anchor chart is not perfect because I'm using this as a note-taking tool for me, just like you are writing yours for you. As long as you can read it and it's neat, then that's good. So the first type of context clue is a word part. For example, lumen and luminous. Lumen means light. That helps me know what luminous means. If you're having a hard time seeing this in the video, I have attached the original anchor chart that you can pull up and copy down into your journal after you watch the video, but try to take notes as we go. The next type of context clues that authors sometimes give you is they will say an unknown word and then they will give you examples of that word to help you understand it. So another type of context clue is an example. Okay? For example, an example context clue, it might say crustaceans, such as shrimp, lobsters, and crabs are interesting creatures. So that helps me know that the word crustaceans is like a shrimp, a lobster, a crab, all of those sea animals that have the outer shells. So I'm going to write that right here. An example is just when the author gives you an example of the word. So our unknown word for this example is crustaceans. I want to make sure I spell it correctly. Crustaceans. Like shrimp, lobsters, and crabs. So if you're reading a story and it says, in the ocean, I see a lot of crustaceans, such as shrimps, lobsters, and crabs. That is the author helping me, giving me examples of what a crustacean is so that I can understand that unknown word. The next type of context clue that an author might use is a definition. Sometimes the author knows that a word might be hard for the readers to understand, so they will give you the definition of that word so that you can better understand it. For example, in the sentence, the calyx, the leaf-like section that covers the flower bud, the word calyx, we may not know what that is because that's very specific to flowers. So the author told us it's the leaf-like section that covers the flower bud. That way I know by the definition what this word calyx means. So these context clues, the definition of calyx, is what helps me understand the unknown word. The next type of text feature or context clue that an author might include is a visual with labels. Okay, this is actually a visual, something, a picture or an illustration that you can see. And then it has labels that tell me the part. So an author might include this sentence, the calyx, the leaf-like section that covers a flower bud, and this image that has a label showing you that leaf-like section that's on the flower bud of calyx. So that is another way an author can help you understand a word that you're not sure about, is with a visual or a label. That's something else you can look for when you're reading, especially informational text that's very specific to a certain topic. Authors want you to understand. That's the whole point of writing it, is to inform you. So they will give you context clues to help you understand words that you don't know. The next type is a synonym or an antonym. When an author uses a word that you might not know, sometimes they'll also give you another word that means the same thing, or a word that means the opposite. So you should know that synonym means same, right? Same. Synonym, same. And then antonym, I'm gonna write it in red. Antonym is the opposite. Same and opposite. Okay? So, for the same, like someone might say, Luke wanted to rectify his mistake. If he could correct it, he would. Rectify and correct mean the same thing. The author gave me an example of a synonym, okay, for a word that I might not know. For an antonym, you might say, while Anna preferred being industrious, Lynn liked to be lazy. You might not know what the word industrious means, right? But the author says Lynn likes to be lazy while Anna likes to be industrious. So industrious must mean the opposite of lazy. So these are all the different types of context clues that you might find when you are reading and you come to an unknown word. And you can use all of these to determine the meaning of an unknown word. So what we are going to do is I'm going to give you some examples, and we are going to work on those together, determining the meaning of the unknown word. And then you are going to do some examples on your own. You're going to be working on, I'm going to do this whole first page with you, the first 10 with you, and then you are going to work on the second page by yourself. I want you to listen to me when I say this. Yes, you need to be able to understand what type of context clue you use. You need to know if it was an example or if it was an explanation or a synonym or an antonym. That is important. But what's most important is that you're able to use the context clues to determine the meaning of the unknown word. So I am going to be grading the first part of every question where it tells you to choose what the word means. And I will be looking at what context clue you think what you used. But here is not the most important. What's most important is that you are actually able to determine the meaning of the unknown word, okay? So do not get frustrated or hung up on trying to figure out what type of context clue it is. I know that might be new for you, and I'm more worried about you being able to actually understand what the underlined word means. Also, some of these words you may have never seen before. It may be a word that you're not sure how to pronounce. That is why it's important to know how to use your context clues, because even I come across words all the time that I'm not sure what they mean, so I have to keep reading and read around and use my context and use my clues to determine what the word means before I can understand it. So that's okay if you're not really sure how to say the word that's underlined, but you're trying to figure out its meaning. So let's get started. Okay, this is A. We're going to start with A. It says, Margaret had ambivalent feelings about attending the concert. She knew she'd enjoy the music, but she didn't really want to go out in the rainy weather. Choose the correct definition of the word in italics. Okay, I'm looking for clues. It says ambivalent. She has ambivalent feelings about attending the concert. She knew she'd enjoy the music, but she didn't really want to go out in the rainy weather. What makes the most sense? Does she have mixed feelings? She knows she'll enjoy the music, but she doesn't want to go out in the rain. Is she mad or angry? I don't think so. Is she feeling distrustful, like she doesn't trust the music? No. I think the best answer is she has mixed feelings. She really wants to attend this concert, but she doesn't want to go out in the rain. Those are ambivalent feelings. She has mixed feelings. The author is trying to get me to understand the meaning of ambivalent, and the author says she knows she would enjoy the music, but she didn't want to go out in the rain. The author is explaining to me exactly what ambivalent means, which is mixed. Let's look at B. B says, unlike, y'all, if you see the word unlike, then unlike is an antonym, opposite, okay? Unlike my parents who love classical music, I detest it. Choose the correct definition of the word in italics. What would be the opposite of loving something? Hate. Detest means hate because it says, unlike my parents who love it, I detest it. So it'd be like, I hate it. Okay, and this is an example of what type of context clue? An antonym. Okay, it's the opposite. Let's look at C. Regular exercise is beneficial to your body, but too much exercise is not good for you. Choose the correct definition of the word beneficial. Helpful, harmful, or pleasant. This is another one, the word but too much is not good for you. That means the opposite. So what's the opposite of being not good for you? That'd be harmful. But what does beneficial mean? Because it says regular exercise is beneficial to your body, but too much is not good for you. So beneficial must mean helpful. Again, it gave me an antonym to help me understand the unknown word. Let's look at D. The abandoned house was infested with vermin, including rats, fleas, and cockroaches. Choose the correct definition of the word in italics. Vermin. Guys, I talked about this kind of with the crustaceans. It says crustaceans, including shrimp, lobsters, and crab. This one says vermin, including rats, fleas, and cockroaches. So we're going to look at which one of these words would best describe rats, fleas, and cockroaches. Pest. Rats are a pest. Fleas are a pest. Cockroaches are a pest. Animals. A flea and a cockroach is an insect. A rat is an animal, so only apply it to one. Insects, again, flea and cockroach are insects, but rat's not, so the best answer is pest. What type of context clues hints at the word? It gave me examples. Do you see how to do this? You are so capable. You can do this. You are just looking for clues to help you know the unknown word. Even if that unknown word is unknown and you've never heard it before, all you have to do is use your clues to find the meaning. Last one that I'm going to do with you, and then you're going to do the rest on your own. Mary sneered at the ugly sweater. Oh, wow, she said. That is just hideous. Choose the correct definition of the word in italics. What does hideous mean? It says ugly sweater. So what does hideous mean? It means unattractive. And they gave me a synonym. A synonym means the same. Synonym for hideous is ugly. So they gave me a synonym. That's all you're going to do. Keep practicing your context clues. You are going to do these right now, but every single time you read and you come to an unknown word, you can use your context clues to figure it out. You can use all of these different types of context clues that authors give you to determine the meaning of the unknown word.